So this video is going to be a clip from my Patreon podcast with AJ Analysis, where we did a 50-minute episode reviewing United's whole season. I do also have an episode coming out in the next few days where I basically analyse 15 to 20 different players, including the likes of James Maddison, Manuel Ugarte, and lots more, looking at how good they are, where they should go, and whether Manchester United should be interested. So if you do want to sign up to the Patreon, you can also get a 7-day free trial, and each month you will get 4 to 5 full-length podcasts where I'm not just discussing Manchester United, but football in general. So thank you in advance to anyone who does sign up, as it will help to support the channel. And you can also check out AJ Analysis's channel, which will be linked in the description as well. But yeah, like looking forward to next season. Imagine if we get Kane.
Yeah, that's like, the one.
Even if we didn't get anyone else, which I mean is certainly possible. I could see us doing something like that. But even if you just put Kane and you've got Anthony, Rashford either side, because I think Bruno Fernandes, I think it would allow him to play a lot higher up the pitch. Because right now, I mean, we do have Eriksen, but Fernandes has to constantly be like the hub of the side, constantly be the playmaker.
Yeah. He's doing the job of several different players at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah. Whereas if you got Kane, also I think Kane's long passing is better than even Bruno Fernandes's or even Eriksen's, especially when it comes to like playing those like cutting passes through the defence. Like, can you imagine Rashford? I know he's been we saw it with Son, but I think Rashford suits Kane even more than Son.
Even more, yeah. I think it's like a better version almost.
Because a lot of the passes that Kane was playing to Son were taking him into wide areas where he would then cut in and shoot, whereas Rashford makes those diagonal runs into central positions.
Yeah, so where Kane's vacated. Yeah.
So, like, if Kane can play those through balls, now the probability of scoring from that position is a lot higher than, say, having to cut inside as Son was doing.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Like, that's probably something that you probably look at and say, like, if United can get 2 big signings, it would probably take them ahead of maybe even Arsenal for like competing with City next season.
Yeah, I don't think this team is far off at all. It's kind of like Liverpool the other year, where they were kind of chasing City but couldn't quite got there, and they added, what was it? Even just Alisson, I think it might have been that summer, was the main big signing. Yeah.
I think
even that alone.
I think they actually finished 4th like the season before.
Yeah,
I know they got. Let me see. They got to the Champions League final against Madrid,
wasn't it? Yeah,
and then I think the next season they competed with City and they just about lost it. Yeah, let's see. Premier League table 2018-19. I think, they lost the league with 97 points.
That's so harsh.
And then the season before that, they finished 4th with 75.
Yes, that's a big difference.
Yeah, what were we on this season in terms of points? We are on
69, I think it is.
So we should, so we could finish around that. So it's feasible. It is feasible.
Could be a similar sort of trajectory, yeah.
Yeah, but I think City, they're gonna have to fall off like probably about 10-20% just for anyone to have a chance. I think
they're too good. I don't know how you compete with them.
Yeah, especially with Haaland, because like
they've completely broke the expectation of what a league-winning points tally is.
Yeah, like you can't even. I think even if you like, it's actually quite hard to even conceive. Like Klopp basically did everything he possibly could, nearly won the quadruple as well, and it's so annoying as well because it doesn't even look. It's not like it's even the end of an era for them. It's kind of like the start of it.
It feels like they kind of had this few-year era. It now feels like they're going a different way, which is like by adding Haaland is terrifying to think about.
Yeah, but that's why I think if United can, they've got to try and get Mbappe.
That superstar sort of quality.
Yeah, because I think he's contract. I know he's got I think his contract expires next summer and he's got the option of another year. And so that would mean either he's going on a free, because I imagine he wouldn't extend it.
No.
Or they're going to sell him this summer. But I mean, if the Qatari takeover could happen, I mean, I don't even know what's going on with that.
That's the thing at the moment. It's so difficult to kind of plan what we might do this summer when we don't even know who's going to be owning the football club, how much money is going to be available. Because it's so difficult to kind of
feasibly, if Qatar did come in now, you could be looking at like a complete, like you could be looking at bringing in a goalkeeper, a centre back, 2 central midfielders, and a forward, which is like 5 players, and bringing in like the actual players, like the first choice options, which would
the top end players in each position. Yeah.
Because if I'm Man United, I do kind of think people over focus on the Premier League and sort of forget about the Champions League. Like, you know, when you're looking at the start, like, oh, can we compete? People seem to just completely overlook it and it comes as like a second thought. But I mean,
Yeah.
I would say that United may have a better chance of winning the Champions League next season than the Premier League.
If you had that bit of especially if you had
Yeah.
something like a goal scorer who can kind of get you those goals out of nothing.
Hmm.
I
Because
think
the
the
thing
Premier
is,
League to compete with City, you got to do it for 38 games in a season,
yeah, that's a problem.
and that's too difficult to do. Whereas, like you say, Champions League, you've got what 6 games in the group stage. How many is it in a knockout? Is it
So
how many
two,
rounds? Is
I
it
think
six,
it's
seven,
7 games,
7
including the
games with
final.
the
Yeah.
final? Yeah,
So that's
like
what, yeah.
that's so much more feasible to do than what the Premier League is at the moment. Just because Manchester City are ridiculous.
Yeah, and also we do seem to be like that sort of big game side that can, like, we could probably, like, compared to Arsenal. I think Arsenal are more of a league side. Like,
Yeah,
I don't really see them being able to. I mean, obviously they can. Any side can like feasibly beat another side, but they don't strike me as a sort of, like, you know, like how Real Madrid, like, over the
yeah, it's
course of a
hard to
league
put
season.
your finger on like what it is, which makes you say it. But I completely agree. United
I've
feel more like
yeah.
a team which can go do it in a cup or do it in Europa League, Champions League, big games, big moments. United feel more like the sort of team which are going to do that
Mm.
rather than Arsenal, even though Arsenal are probably better.
I think it's more down to like moments in games, because I think
Yeah,
Arsenal are kind of like City, or City before the season, where they would dominate like 80 minutes of the game, but when it comes to like the top level, it comes down to like those few moments, like you've seen with Real Madrid over the last few years, like even before, like during the Ronaldo era, you just need those like moments to like change the game. And
those split seconds,
yeah, and
those
United
like
do.
stardust.
Yeah, United do have that, because you have like Bruno Fernandes. Like, he's one of the best players, like at getting the ball on the when the attack is transitioning quickly, and just instantly. He seems to have that knack of being able to not just see the pass, but he times a pass and waits a pass perfectly.
Yeah,
And Rashford's like one of the best players in the world at running through, making that diagonal run. And especially if you add Kane into that, and if Anthony, like, that's something I want Anthony to develop. Like, I know that I always say that, he needs to develop his right foot, but realistically, is he going to be able to do that? Like, because even players like Robin throughout their career never really seem to develop their right foot. I don't really know what it is, because you assume if you're a professional footballer, you'd be able
you
to,
can
like,
play with both feet. Yeah,
yeah, it's kind of a weird. I've never really understood that, even when I was younger and I was playing football, because I could, like, you can kind of get better pretty easily at your weaker foot, but maybe it's just it's that higher level where you need
yeah.
years and years of it. Maybe I get, because even like Salah is pretty one-footed, but like if Anthony can work on just shifting the ball quicker onto his left foot in those shooting positions, he's shooting ability. He sort of added the variety of shooting I've noticed in like the
As the
last,
season's gone on, 100%.
yeah, like, because he would always be looking for that far post,
Yeah,
which even for him is like it's like a really hard finish, because you've got to get it right in the corner or the keeper saves it, and you've got to get it with the power as well. Whereas if you go sort of near post, you can go with a bit more power and it's a closer range where it's sort of like maybe the keeper can't really see it and such. So he's one where I have got a video coming out talking about him and Darwin Núñez, because this is going to be like a crazy prediction, but I actually think Darwin Núñez is going to score more than 20 goals next season.
I can see it. Yeah,
Because if you look at have you seen his FB ref report?
I'll
It's just
quickly
like
get it up now.
it's one of the weirdest things of, like, if you actually look at it, like, even whatever because you compare them, you can compare them to either the Premier League or like top 5 leagues. But if you compare
Yeah,
them in the Premier League, like, it just looks ridiculous. Like, he ranks like in the top 90th percentiles for his non-penalty XG, for his XG assisted, even for like his progressive carries and stuff. He's ranking crazy, but he's just massively underperforming his non-penalty XG. Whereas last season at Benfica, he was doing the
it's the other way
opposite.
around. Yeah,
So I'm thinking if he can at least just match it, he's actually going to be. And also, he's playing, like, I can easily see Liverpool competing for the title next season.
I wonder if they might be closer to it than Arsenal next
Yeah,
year. I wonder if they might be a bit closer to City than what Arsenal are next season. It
yeah,
feels like with Klopp, obviously they've got a squad as well, which has kind of been there and done it. I think they're probably only a few signings away from being where they
yeah.
are at this season to being suddenly right back up there again.